all he's ever worked was high school jobs. There's a growing trend among people, and this happens more with men than with women, it seems, where you want to go to work, you want to be at work, you want to work, you want to work, you want to get paid, you want to survive, you want to do well, you want to do a lot of things. But there's one thing, and this really has more to do with personality more than anything. You can't accept the idea that you're just going to go to an office and you're going to sit your ass in a chair and look at a computer screen. Because in all reality, and we all know this, not everybody can do that. But there is a certain number of people who like to work alone and who need to be out and around. They need to be out. They need to be going. They need to be doing things where they get to make the decision. They get to figure out what their schedule is. They need to be in control of their own life. And so usually this will manifest if you live in a city. If you live in a city, there's so much going on, yet you have no clue as to what kind of job or what kind of career you want to have, because there's so much hustle and bustle that's going on in the city, usually of people who are going to office jobs, that you start to believe that the only jobs that are out there is office work. And what this really comes down to is being unaware of what kind of jobs are available, what kind of jobs are in the market, and what kind of jobs are possible, what kind of jobs are the right fit for you as a person. And this really has to go a lot and stem from what I've talked about a lot, and that is the universities and the colleges and high schools. The public school system really does not prepare people for the real world. And I think a lot of us get that at this point, that really they don't care. Really, the public school system is just the public school at this point is really just a daycare where they run younger people through and they say, okay, and now we give you a piece of paper, and now you say, yay, and then you feel good for about 5 seconds, and then your life goes to crap. And because the public school is run by educators, and primarily educators, people who have no real life experience, they don't provide people the knowledge they need for real life. They don't prepare them at all. They just don't. They do absolutely nothing that actually helps them because they don't know any better. And so then we have postings on Reddit that are like this. This comes from Original Person 1119. The only job I've ever liked is delivering pizzas, but it pays bad. What new job should I do? I've tried many things, including retail and office work, and the only job I've liked so far is delivering pizzas. My favorite part is being able to be in the car and listen to music and not having to put up with people's S 24/7. I get really bored in an office environment and really stressed in retail. I figured that I like doing jobs where I get to be by myself and listen to music. The problem is doing pizzas is that the pay is low and there are no benefits. What would you suggest I do? I thought of truck driving, but most of the jobs on Indeed require either heavy lifting or stopping 300 times per day. I want a job where I get to be in my car for at least 10 minutes at a time and don't have to lift constantly. There are a lot of problems with this posting, and this is actually one of the, I'll just do the easiest thing first. They say all the postings on LinkedIn, all the jobs on LinkedIn say that they require lifting. Employers put that requirement about lifting so that it dissuades people with disabilities from applying for the job. And so if they say, oh, the job requires that you be able to lift 50 pounds, they're not expecting you to lift 50 pounds. Actually, there's a good chance you'll never lift anything that weighs more than 20 pounds. However, a lot of the times they put that in there so somebody that's in a wheelchair or somebody who maybe doesn't have the ability to lift 50 pounds won't apply for it. Because what happens is if you have somebody that comes in with a wheelchair, maybe they're disabled in some way, they have some sort of disability. Let's just say somebody comes in for a job interview and they're in a wheelchair and they're permanently in a wheelchair. And then the interviewer says, yeah, but you're required to be able to stand and walk when you do this job. You can't be sitting down. Then the person in a wheelchair is going to look at the requirements and say, nowhere does it say that. And then the employer, the hiring company, could get sued for discrimination. And so the reason you see that requirement about the must be able to lift 50 pounds, not because they expect you to lift 50 pounds, it's only because they're trying to weed out anybody who isn't capable of lifting 50 pounds. As far as the truck driving, they make it seem like, based off what they type, that they believe that truck drivers do a lot of lifting, and I'm sure a lot of them do, and there's certain cases where they do have to end up lifting, but there's a lot of truck drivers who honestly will just sit there and wait for their truck to be unloaded, and they get in the truck and they drive away. They don't spend any time lifting anything. Okay, so that was the easy part. So this is an example. They're talking about delivering pizza. So I assume this person lives in the city. I think that's a fair assumption. The person lives in the city. They've worked retail. They've worked in pizzas. They've worked in the office. They've done a lot of things. So it's actually a good thing. If you have no idea what you want to do in your life, one of the best things you could do is work these different experiences and find out what you like and what you don't like. So here's the case where somebody says, I like delivering pizzas. They figured that out about themselves. And that's actually extremely important and a fantastic strategy for when you have no idea what you want to do in life. And so at this point, this person has ruled out that they want to be in an office, that they want to be sitting staring at a screen, that they want to be around a lot of people. So they've ruled out a lot of things that they don't like in the workplace. And it sounds like they want to be up, they want to be moving, they want to be going places, they want to be accomplishing something where they get to work by themselves. And so if you are a young person, especially maybe just out of high school or something, and you're not going to college, that sort of thing, this is a great strategy to use. It's just find out what you don't like. Now, it kind of sucks because you spend a lot of time doing it, and then you find out the hard way, unfortunately. However, this person says they don't like retail. Well, retail sucks. I mean, I don't know anybody who likes retail. Usually you work in retail because you can't get another job. And so this is the type of personality of person who likes to get up and they like to go a lot. They don't want to be in one place. They don't want to do the same thing over and over again. Especially life in America like this doesn't work well for this type of person. So we're in a situation to where a lot of the companies have been set up and a lot of the systems have been set up so that people just do cookie cutter type work. They're not really set up for people to be engaging and for people to function on their own and for people to grow on their own or people to really make any decisions on their own, to be honest with you. Everything is pretty well streamlined and under control, which doesn't work well for a lot of people. If you're the type of person who needs to be up and going like this person, there's a good chance that you're actually a business owner. You just don't know it yet, and you don't know what a business owner of. But you're the personality of somebody who wants to get up and go. You want to strive. You want to push. You want to grow and expand beyond the cookie cutter system that we currently have. But if you don't want to run a business, or it's actually too early in your life, there are a couple things that you could do. I mean, I would actually strongly suggest that if you're in this situation, you work for small businesses. I always suggest you work in a small business, especially if you're this type of person. Because if you're this type of person, you're going to be asked to do a lot of different things. You're not going to be doing the same thing over and over again. You're not going to be asked to just do all the boring stuff. You're going to be asked to do things that are important for the company to succeed. But if that still doesn't interest you and you're like this person, you want to get up and go, you like ordering pizzas, but the pay is bad. Well, I worked as a crop adjuster. I was a crop claims adjuster, and I did a ton of driving. I drove all over the state of Iowa, and I did a lot of claims, and actually it was pretty decent pay for what I was doing. So, I mean, that could be something that this person could take into consideration. If you're like this person, you could do that as well. The other thing that caught my attention is this person works in the city. This person does not want to work retail, does not want to do anything in the office, does not want to do anything that has to do with heavy lifting. So this is a blue collar person who doesn't want to do any heavy lifting. And I kind of thought, if they want to be able to think for themselves and they want to function on their own, then they're definitely going to be looking at insurance, where they're going to be on the road a lot, or maybe something like an electrician, where they would have to do some heavy lifting or some lifting, but maybe not anything like too heavy. And at the same time, they could work with themselves. They could drive around. They could do a whole lot of things, and they could get paid well for it. But what's the real issue that's going on here? In our country, we have a situation to where people are being left behind. People's lives suck. People have no clue as to what it is that they want to do for their lives, their careers. People are so naive when it comes to career planning. In fact, it's so bad that more than ever, people in their 30s wake up and go, crap, what did I do with my life? I need to make a change. I did this wrong and this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. And then you get to a point to where you finally figure it out. And then you're like, now I'm middle-aged. Now my life is almost over. Now I have all these responsibilities. Now what the hell do I do? The real issue is we have all these people going through the daycare system, better known as public school. And it's by design. It's by design. We cannot, in our country, if you are somebody who is trying to compete and trying to succeed and trying to take over the world, and you need all the assets you could possibly acquire to keep your family happy, and you need all the little people in a country to be distracted, what would you do? Well, you would set up a really crappy education system and tell them they're getting an education. Then you would tell them that, hey, all you have to do is go to college. You can get even more education because the first round of education wasn't enough. And then you would say, well, you could do whatever you want to do in life, and that'll make you successful. Well, all that is bullcrap. All that ever does is that makes it so it's going to take you 20 years of your life to figure crap out. Because when you have no idea what type of job you want, when you have no idea what kind of career you want, when you have no idea what it takes to succeed, you're going to spend all your time spinning your wheels while all these other people who are setting up the system, who are raking in the money, already have traction and already have built up a wealth for their empire, for their family, while you're out screwing around. That's what's really going on. The real thing that's going on is that you are being screwed. End of story. I'm SP Graham. This is JobFerno. If you got any questions for me, send them to me at questions@jobferno.com. And as always, choose skills over money.